In April 2008, a team of 9 U.S. citizens traveled to Koutiala in Mali, West Africa, to provide assistance at a hospital that opened its doors in April 2006. The team included several electricians, an engineer, a carpenter, with the remainder of the team offering assistance as needed over a 3-week stay. The hospital and pediatrics building was already built and operational, while a warehouse is under construction to house supplies and equipment for the hospital that arrive via container several times a year from the States. The hospital functions with 1960 through 1980 equipment, almost exclusively donated by the U.S.
Hi, I'm Dan Nesselrode. I'm an OBGYN from Springfield, Ohio. I'm living here in Mali with my wife and 3 children. We've been here for about 3 years. I have the privilege of working at the Hospital for Women and Children here in Koutiala. Mali is a country of staggering medical need. To come here with Western eyes, what you see initially is just overwhelming. It's hard to see anything but the poverty and the need. The longer you're here, then you begin to see other things, the good things as well.
I'm Terry Newman, and I'm a nurse out at the hospital, the Women's and Children's Hospital. I am one of the nursing supervisors and also involved in nursing education. We have a lot of training to do to help the nurses learn how to care for the women and the children. Especially we have a lot of prematures and how to do specialized care for them. We'll also be training nurses for the pediatrics department when we open pediatrics. These are all Malian nurses that we're hiring and training. They've been trained here in Malian schools. A lot of theory, they're weak on practice or on the practical aspects. So that's where we try to really reinforce and also logical thinking, how to work through problems in the cases that they're caring for. We have 25 nurses, and probably 4 of those are in training right now. The American staff is comprised of 1 OBGYN, 1 person for the lab and to train lab workers, and then 5 missionary nurses. Yes. And 1 pediatrician. I think the hospital's had a big impact on this area for women and children. We see that the numbers of people that deliver at the hospital has increased, so that shows us already that the local people have confidence in our hospital. They've done studies over the past several years on neonatal mortality. That means in the first 7 days of life, how many babies die. In our region, that's 7%. And we've been open for almost 2 years now, and from the studies that we have done on our children, we have a 1.6% neonatal mortality rate. And we're seeing also that they trust us by bringing their babies back for vaccinations and for weights. And they're healthy children, they're doing well. So, yeah, I think it's impacting this community.
There's a US-based international charity called Save the Children that does a comparison study of the countries of the world every few years. They call it their Mother Index. Mali ranked dead last of all the countries of the world, tied with Burkina Faso, which is a neighboring country here, as the worst place to be a mother. would mean that across your lifespan as a Malian woman, you take about a 10% chance of dying as a result of childbirth. To find numbers anywhere equivalent to that in America, you would have to go back to the American Civil War, the mid-1800s. That's essentially the maternal mortality you have when you can do nothing. And the hospital's been running now about 2 years, and it's amazing. But we're really functioning at about late 1980s or early 1990s medicine, and it's virtually all donated equipment. You look at the need, and you look at the resources that we had and the resources that this country has, and to be able to do 1990s obstetrics here basically in the middle of nowhere is it's encouraging to all of us. In terms of specific needs right now, we're looking for an X-ray machine. We don't have one. The difficulty here in sub-Saharan Africa is there's lots of things, but one is the heat and the dust, so finding something that will hold up, that doesn't use a lot of reagents, that doesn't use a lot of chemicals for film processing, and so ideally we'd like to find something that would be digital. Things like pulse oximeters, oxygen concentrators, automatic blood pressure, what we call a Dynamap box, that sits on an IV pole. Those things are always needed. We have about a 40-bed maternity unit. We do about 5 deliveries a day, which is amazing when you consider we have 1 delivery room with 2 beds in it. So the first 2 people in labor go in the beds, the 3rd person goes on a stretcher, and the 4th person goes on the floor. And we just take it as it rolls in. We do about 25 cases, surgical cases a month. Maybe a third to a half of those are C-sections. The rest are gynecologic cases or else just surgical emergencies.
When I was a young boy, Daddy used to teach me that I was a prince, so a king to be. When I was a little man, Mama used to teach me that I was a prince, so a king to be. All together, we used to sing a song, and the song was, I love Africa. And the song was, I love Africa. And the song was, I love Africa. Africa, oh, Africa, in my bellow. Oh, Africa, oh. In each of you go gather fire, and I feel more to Sukazile. In each of you go gather fire, and I feel more to Sukazile. Yes, oh, say, Nima Kasida Villa. Yeah, oh, oh, oh. When I was a young boy, Daddy used to